Good evening, everybody. Just trying to sort out the music, so should be starting shortly. Why would David Mitchell do this? Right, let's try and get the audio level synced up. I think that's maybe about right. I don't know. You have to let me know if it's too much. Anyway, right, let's get to it. So I'm going to turn down a little bit my headphones. Right, so I can't hear myself through the microphone, so I'm fingers crossed everything is fine. I'm doing this on the test bench as well, so because this is where my tinkering station is. I know last time I did this with where we did the GTX 295 over on YouTube. It's like a separate video that I edited down. I will probably make mistakes to putting this back together, but basic premise is that this is a GTX 1080 under here, and I bought the Waterblock for it because I put it into a sort of quick disconnect system through the Alpha Core Icebear. However, this is now destined to be used for other things, so on the test bench and also in my second system. So it needs the air cooler to go back on it because I've got no other way of using this other than with the old system, so it sort of limits what I can do with it currently. Even though, gotta say, the Waterblock, brilliant. It did exactly what I thought it would. In terms of lowering the temps, you can get a lot more performance out of the GTX 1080 by, or any sort of modern graphics card, by water cooling it. Yeah, well, for those that know, I suppose vastly superior to air cooling anyway. You know, one thing I did forget. I forgot my magnetic screw tray, so I'll be back in 1 second. So I always have some spare screws in here because they accumulate and then I don't know what to do with them. So they just end up staying in here. But they're thumb screws and one standoff, so I guess that's fine. But I'm just going to attach this to my case anyway. We'll see. I've got some cotton buds as well if I'm going to actually do any cleaning, which we will be doing. So I'm going to start by taking off the front I/O plate because I'm not brave enough to get properly stuck in yet. Quite simple actually. Got my screwdriver. It's like a fake iFixit kit, basically. Yep. And just find the right bit. So I don't know why I've turned it the other way around. I've painstakingly tried to make sure this is the, you know, as I see it, and yeah, that's where we're at. You know what, I'm going to have the magnetic tray here. And I know that I didn't leave the air cooler in the best of conditions. There's probably thermal paste everywhere inside. You can just see it here, this bag up here. So we'll see how that goes. I remember these ones are a bit... Oh no, they are Phillips. Okay, that's good. What do I want for that? We'll go a little electric screwdriver. Very nice. Obviously going to try and not hurt any pads or anything like that. At least I hope it's this way to do it. Back plate off first. So I'll probably end up selling this Waterblock because there's not really too much I can really do with it now. I've had to play around with it. It's certainly not really something I see myself using again, because the case that this card is destined for is not not big enough. But I think that's probably for a different video actually at this point. But yeah, I really like this. I think it's like the Xiaomi Well stick, or a similar company anyway. And it comes with a load of different bits. I can't remember how many, 50 or so. Obviously you only use like 3. But it's good to have the options, and it's literally just got a clockwise or anti-clockwise, depending on whether you want to push in or push out. So it's got a nice little LED on it as well. Help you find things. Extremely useful, especially with small parts, computer stuff. You know, makes a lot of it fairly painless. Now, I suppose I haven't, as you won't know what cooler is going back on this card. So it is the Founders Edition, which unfortunately means we're in for one of the worst assemblies and disassemblies going. But there you go. So this one actually has some pads on it for the rear of the board, which I think it's off this anyway. I don't think it's off the FE. No, it is definitely off this, which I guess is quite good. You know, extra. Not going to complain about extra cooling. Is that it? That's not going to come off like that, is it? Surely. I don't know what to do with this. Right, put it down here. So, this is the worst part, I think, because it may require a little bit of force. But that's it. So lots and lots of thermal paste, but it's come off pretty well. I don't think any of this is off the FE cooler, so I am going to retrieve these pads. What shall I use? I've got a little pair of tweezers, I think. We'll go for them. They are metal though, but should be okay if we're careful. So let me just put that in. So you can, it's a bit difficult I guess, but you can really see that there's just a lot more direct cooling to copper than you get, than I'll show you with the air cooler. Which is one of the things that helps. It's also a lot more efficient, which is why you see massive performance gains. You don't want to break thermal pads because we don't want to be replacing thermal pads if we don't have to. I do have some though, if worst comes to worst. I was actually considering getting some of the thermal, not paste, is it? Thermal, oh no, it is thermal paste. But like thicker thermal paste that's more like a thermal pad. So that's that. I'm not. Am I willing to risk tightening this down in the? Tell you what, I'll put a couple of screws in to keep it together. I've just been burned so many times with putting something back together and then realising that I need some of the thermal pads. I don't think I need these ones. I think these are the ones that they're destined for this part. So I've also got to drain the actual block at some point as well, because these quick disconnects keep it in. So it is actually full of water, but it's not an issue for now. Screwdriver ASMR. So this microphone is another thing I was going to do a video on, but time constraints are a bugger, of course. So managed to pick this microphone. It's the Majority SR2 or S2R, something like that. I don't know. No affiliate links in my description. But yeah, it was very cheap and on offer. So I presume probably will. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't take off the thermal paste. Oh well, never mind. That's hardly the worst sin I've ever committed. So I've got some isopropyl alcohol. I've used this bottle 7 times over, I think, at this point, but I just basically bought a big vat of it. Unfortunately, around the time that COVID became an issue, so I think I got in there just before this sort of thing was really expensive and people were trying to use it to water down hand sanitizers and such. But anyway, a bit of that and some, apologies, a bit of that and some blue roll will help us out tremendously. I'm not planning on being meticulous about this, if I'm honest. Which I know this is still quite disgusting, but look, the dye is clean and it'll be fine. So there's your naked PCB. I don't know if you'll be able to make out the chip or not. Let me try and get it in there. Yeah, there we go. GP104-400A1. That's your GTX 1080. Nothing all that remarkable about this board, to be fair. There's a lot of pretty much quite a bit of empty space on there, but and then you've seen the rear already, but yep, and that's it. I/O is pretty decent actually, to be fair. One of the last ones to still retain a DVI port. I mean, other than that, I think it would make, because I think it is 2 slots by virtue, but you could definitely have make it a single slot with a Waterblock, which would be really cool, and just a single 8-pin as well, which is also quite nice. Not a bad card actually, all things told. So I'm just going to clean up the desk, I think, because that's a bit gross. And now the bit that I am dreading, which is to open this baggie and see what's inside. Well, we know what's inside, but what condition is it inside? And what did I do with the screws? Ooh. There it is, in all its glory. Oh yeah, I forgot about the half back plate. I don't actually have all the screws for that either. Oh, I've got some thermal paste as well. Lovely. Oh, you know what? Past Van Berman did alright, didn't he? Sort of. So I'm not sure what thermal paste this is. Oh, it's the one that is for the Waterblock. Probably extremely old. But I guess we could use it. I mean, I had some MX2, but you know what? We'll use this thermal paste. Why not? Put that to one side for now. So the plethora of screws. I'll make a little space for it in my tray. This, I mean, it's nice. Obviously, it's a backplate. Backplates are nice, premium deals. But if you have a look at the screw holes on it, they're absolutely tiny. And I've threaded 2 of these screws already, so I'm just gonna have to do the ones on the outside, I think, or yeah, just I don't know. We'll see. But it can happen with tiny screws. It's just one of them. They make the the little SSD screws, make them look huge in comparison. Why they thought that was a good idea, I don't know. But then again, I don't work for Nvidia, so in many ways a blessing, in other ways a curse. Yeah, okay, so we've got thermal paste everywhere. Oh no, we haven't. We're okay. We survived. But as you can see, these thermal pads are not quite as clean as the other ones. They're certainly a lot older. But also, I'm not sure how much effect this would have because it's onto a plastic backing, but on the back plate it does also have thermal pads. That probably leads me to think it's more of a protective thing rather than thermal. Could be wrong. What do I know? Not a lot. Okay, so let's put the bag to one side. Actually, you know what I can do before we start sorting out the FE cooler? I'm gonna go through and just finish off the other one. Ah, yes, that's the problem. The thermal pads like to escape. Thermal pad. We will just tuck it there for now. Gotta say that on the whole, this Waterblock is a delight to use. And it's the first time I've ever had any of the XSPC stuff. But then I've not really bought Waterblocks for new hardware, to be honest. Usually just whatever you get with a bit of used hardware off of eBay. But anyway, this shouldn't take too long just to put these in. Certainly a lot nicer than putting the FE block on. So this, obviously, as you can tell, this is not maybe not an aesthetically fully pleasing block, but it does have these LEDs that you can put in it to light up the acrylic around the inside. I didn't put them in because I didn't bother, because I couldn't really find a way of making it look clean. Because there's basically just these dimples on the acrylic, I'll show you in a second, where the LEDs go in, and then it just hooks up to a Molex cable. So it's rudimentary in the biggest form. And where are the little holes? I'm trying to remember where one of them is now. Oh, there we are. So it looks a bit unassuming because it looks a bit like it could be a hole, but if you look at there, that's where the LED would go in there, and then there's one somewhere else, probably the other side. Yeah, that thermal pad's escaped once again. Oh gosh, one of the screws didn't go in either. Did I forget? Probably. It couldn't be the screw's fault. There we go. Simple. I'll drain that off camera. It's not me drinking the coolant, that's me having a sip of water. Okay, so I don't really know. I mean, I could have a go at the thermal pads with some isopropyl alcohol and a cotton bud. I don't know what would come off it though, but as you can see, they've sort of leaked their oils somewhat. But I'm not really too fussed about that. We will clean off the thermal paste though, because that has been sat there for a bit. I don't think it's the original one. I think it has been repasted probably several times in its life. But yeah, 1080, one of my favourite cards. Just got dwarfed by the TI version though, which was actually the last proper real SLI setup, and last one I had in SLI. Which was a very good time for hardware, PC hardware, and now we're in the dark days. Hopefully not for too much longer. We'll see. Right, let's have a little go with the isopropyl alcohol. So what I like to do is make a right mess. But other than that, just a case of wetting your tip of your cotton bud with some isopropyl alcohol, and then just give it a gentle. You don't want to damage thermal pads if you can help it. I'm not sure what it's doing there. Not doing too much. Just moving around the same bit of dust or whatever it is. Obviously these thermal pads will be original. And the problem with blower style cooler is they do attract quite a lot of dust. I know that the normal ones do as well, but and this is after I've actually given this a clean, believe it or not. Not a thorough one, but enough. You know what, that's not perfect, but I've got a few more specks of dust off, so improvement has been made. So I'm satisfied. So, yes, the pain bit where you have to try and get it together without smashing anything, and also clipping in the fan and the RGB headers. Luckily there's a decent amount of cable on this, so I'm not too fussed, not too bothered about it. Let me just have a look and see what I need to do here. So we've got the spring screws, and then and then we've got, obviously I know the little tiny ones to the back plate, but I think we can do them last. These ones are like hexagonal, the ones for the FE card. They really didn't want you taking this apart, so I'll see if I've got the right size. I mean, I know I do, but I'll see what size I need for this. I never actually thought about like shouting out what size of bits that you need. I guess that I don't think anyone would be watching this though for teardown advice. So it looks like it's one of them. Very good. I also need some thicker ones. Oh yeah. When do I put the IO shield on? That now? Trying to remember. Yeah, I guess it would be now, wouldn't it? Okay, let's stick the IO shield on first then. If it's not, I'm not like a right dum-dum. But I'll risk it. I'm not going to stick them all in. I'm just going to put the two for the DVI port on in case I'm wrong. Because these will hold it down, and then we'll put the other three in when we've got it assembled properly. Because as you can see, there's some space for the screws, so it does connect in, but I can't remember in what order. Okay, go for that for now. So this is one of these, number 4. Right, isopropyl alcohol, you may go away for now. And we'll use the KSPC thermal compound K3. Probably can't even buy this anymore. So the other two choices were Alpha Cool, whatever their in brand is. Probably, I don't know whether they would make it themselves. No, they probably do. Or MX4, which I haven't got much of left at all. Either of those. So GPU die is a little bit different to, a little bit of a different application method to CPUs, because this doesn't have a heat spreader, obviously. So I do like to give it a bit of a chance, and don't worry about putting too much on. You'll just make a mess, which there already is one. So there's probably actually enough for another go in this. I'm quite happy with that. I think that'll be enough. Okay. Yes, the fiddly part. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually show you, but I'll try. So, as close as possible. Pretty good. And then fiddly cables. It's not so much the fan ones that are an issue, it's the RGB ones that are a pain. But then, if it doesn't flash up saying GeForce GTX How will people know you've got a GTX card? Right. Okay, yeah, turn it over. It's usually a good way. Let's not put too much force on it, and there we go. Just drop it in place. So yes, I didn't actually need to put the IO shield on then, but and I don't know if you meant to or not, but I usually start with the GPU spring hold down, but retentions. But I'll tell you what, we'll go for these two that are surrounding the die to start off with, just to try and balance out some of the force on the die. It's not game over if you don't, of course. Very few things are game over, but give yourself the best chance of not hitting that 1 in 10,000 odd of messing everything up. If you spread the force out, it's the most sensitive part. It's only for the retention, it's the only major sensitive part, I would say. Heck, I've got a GTX Titan that still works with only 3 of these in. Honestly don't know how that thing's still going, but there you go. Right. So you don't want to apply too much force, so a lot of time it's... Am I even going the right way? Who knows? Are we not aligned up correctly? I don't know what's going on. Let me have a quick check. Oh, I dropped it. We are lined up correctly. It's just me being, I don't know, something. There we go. Ratchet screwdriver is pretty good because it sort of gives you an idea of you putting some force on it, but not too much. So you can't even see. So you know when you got it in, but there you go. Not enough force to, not your sort of like tightening force, but you're making contact. The threads are in. Ooh. And only really for this bit it matters anyway, so there we go. And then you can just go around and tighten them all up, basically. Usually you do cross formation, but I'm not. Okay, there we go. And ostensibly, it's done now. This could go back in, it would turn on, boot up, but it's not really the done thing. So, and we will put the rest of these in. Oh, not that one. But yeah, just really the screw type, I guess, the amount of screws, the tiny fiddly screws, everything is designed to dissuade people from going in and doing anything really to their card. It does actually stop people, of course. Water blocks and such in this example are a good reason for people to go in and mess around, but also, these cards can go on for ages. They've released Founders Editions, 770s and the like. With a very almost exact design. And people are going to need to go in and change the thermal based on them at least at some point. So, yeah, I don't know. Don't really know what the thought was, and it didn't get any better either. 2080 Ti that I had was Founders Edition 1. Same sort of thing. I gather that the new 30 series Founders Editions are very much the same as well. So, as I say, being used as a deterrent, unfortunately. Only got left just the one of these, but I've got many different kinds of screws now, and I'm not sure which ones are for the IO. I think it's these two black ones, so we'll put them in first. A bit small though. We'll use the wow stick. Wow. I think it's these ones. Yeah, it looks like it. So, yeah, not fully. Yeah, okay, much better. Now, just a case of going around tightening these horrid screws in. Unfortunately, I won't be able to test it live on stream if it's working because, as I say, filming off the test bench today, so a very quick setup. But you know, I do stuff like this semi-frequently, and I thought it might be nice to. I should really frame that better, shouldn't I? Yeah, might be nice to do it. I didn't find the GTX 295 all that daunting, even though there was the issue with that ribbon cable, which I thought I'd broke. Luckily, I haven't. I have tried it since then. Everything works. Be rest assured. I've broken very few graphics cards in my time, although one very recently, so this going well will be a massive boon. Especially with graphics card prices being the way they are as well. I never really considered how, because of what I call my RTX 3080, I never really considered how nerve-wracking that is, because there's no replacement if you get it wrong, even if you got the money. You know, well, I suppose there is if you got the money, but double the price I paid for my actual one. I paid above the odds anyway, even then. And I think that's the last of that. Well, that was the not so bad bit. The rest of it's pain in the backside now. I'm going to treat myself before. That's right, you heard me. I'm going to do these ones. Which I don't know how I'm going to do it like that now, but we'll give it a go. So I think these ones are these ones, I think. Let me have a quick sanity check. So I've got 3 like SSD screws, and there's 3 and then 2 bigger ones. There are 2 bigger ones as well, so I think I might just drop them. I did. Damn it. Okay. Let me see if that's on the floor somewhere. Attached to me. No screw, but a bit more back. actually genuinely don't know why I've done that. Tell you what, remind myself to look for that afterwards, because luckily it's on this bit, so it's not too bad. Right, well, we're only going to be able to put one of these in, so this side is the chosen side. And with any luck, so the key thing to these ones is not to drop it into the card, because we'll never get it out. Well, we will, because we'll have to, but okay, lovely. Barring that one, obviously. Hold on, let me see if I can get it. Ooh, no, that's going to require some more investigation. Right, the worst part now. Backplate time. Now, one of them has to go on before the other, from what I remember, and I think it's this one. Oh, yes. Oh gosh. Okay. I knew there was something I was missing. I knew it was to do with the IO shield, because I did say. I wonder when this is supposed to go on. But yeah, this is part of the holding down of the back plate. There we go. So which will explain why I was perhaps a bit loose going in. Right, yep, there's that. I guess you could actually almost get away without putting any screws in this side. Very little flex. This bit probably more important, although does it go that way? It must do, I suppose. I'm just looking for the screw holes and I can't see. Oh yeah, of course. Oh, dum dum. So these screws go in through those. No, I don't know, hexagonal, I suppose. And yeah, this is the size of the screw. Tiny. Pain in the backside. So easy to break as well if you're not careful. And I have limited. So it probably is just going to be the perimeters that get it, I would have thought. So we're not going in. It would help if I was pushing the right button, wouldn't it? I think the ones around the die are probably more important because I don't know, like I said, I don't know if those thermal pads are for protection or if they're actual heat dissipation. If they are for heat dissipation, then I'm going to want to make sure that around there is the most secure as it can be. Nope. Oh, yep. So Having said that, I can't actually stick it in this one here, because you can probably see the glint there. That's where one of them has broken off, unfortunately. I was going to potentially offer to say that we could try putting this in the rig it's going to live in on this live stream, but no one around to ask, so it becomes a bit of a moot point, which isn't a problem. I will have to let you know. You'll have to ask me later. I'll tell you if it worked or not. No, I didn't. Nothing went particularly wrong on this. It's fairly incident free actually. Which is a nice change of pace. I haven't broken any of these screws yet either. I feel almost confident saying that now. I'm down to the last two. There we go, just one left. So I have to pick now. So we'll go for the corner. Get the corners down. So yeah, this one doesn't has a screw threaded in it, and I'm missing two. So technically 3 I've broken so far, which yeah, could be better, could be worse as well. Yeah, and that's it really. Sorted. Oh, it's certainly fine. Yeah, it's only because it's got that. It just makes some contact with the back of the die on that side, but I think it's been proven many times that it doesn't actually do a whole lot, especially when it's got plastic coating on it anyway, no real heat transfer. But yeah. That went pretty well. I can't complain, I must say. What else there is to say? That's it. I've done it. But not too long either. Yes, it's probably one of the. It's certainly one of the nicer ones. It's much better than the 20 series. There you go. Probably should have turned it around. I've got a GTX Time, which is obviously very similar. The 700 series as well had the similar design. I quite like the new ones though. The 30 series are quite nice. Well, probably not quite as nice as, but I gave a more efficient heat transfer in the newer ones compared to this. But the Titan Z. Oh yeah, I do actually. It's in a computer at the minute, but I have the 690, which uses the same one. What's broken with it, because my GTX 690 is also broken. I bought it broken though, and the reason is because one of the GPUs is dead in it. So obviously, and the same with the Titan Z, isn't it? That's a dual GPU graphics card. Have you tried? I mean, if that is a similar thing, you probably already tried it, but all of them. I have some. But for example, on my 690, it's because there's like mini display and then 3 DVI ports. You know, if I stick it in this bottom port, it works fine because it runs off the second of the 2 GPUs, and then you can disable the first one in the NVIDIA control panel. So it's effectively like an underclocked 680. So it might be worth giving it a go in all of the all in all your outputs, just to make sure that, as I say, if it is one that's died, which is far more common, there's 2 points of failure. So obviously it's going to be like an underpowered GTX Titan, of course, but it might be worth giving it a go. And yeah, so I've got a GTX 295 and I've got a 690. They're the two dual GPUs I've got. Yeah, I really like the 295, but I had to make a separate, just to be able to tinker around with it, I had to make a separate Windows 10 installation. Because it doesn't work after, I can't remember which one it is now, like 10.01. My 690 is blue. Is it? Oh, you painted it and changed the LED in the logo as well. That's pretty cool, I imagine. Mine's just the stock setup. I've never actually tried painting a graphics card. That might be something interesting to do. I've saw Linus's videos obviously where he hydro dipped it, which I wasn't too keen on that design, to be fair. 7 in the reference design. Do they do reference design of 780 Ti's? They must have done, I guess. But I'm trying to see whatever. I've got a few other graphics cards actually. Give me a sec. If you're interested, I'll show you. If you're not interested, I'll show you anyway. I mainly have like older cards just for display on my shelf. So goodbye 1080. So I have this thing here. I have a bit of a habit, or I did. Well, graphics cards were still cheaper, buying ones that were broken and then fixing them. So, yeah, old school WinForce with like pure copper pipes. Like, it's just so ridiculous, the fact that it's got like the flames on the outside as though it's like on fire. But yeah, really cool. Really good condition actually as well. I ended up having to flash the BIOS on it off of Tech Power Up, and it worked fine since then. So, but yeah, lovely card. And then I've got 8800 GTS, very old school, like absolutely massive caps on it. They're definitely going to go at some point, but yeah, it's actually quite expensive for what it is. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Like, it's literally the rendering of Oblivion. I tried playing. I think I played Oblivion on it for my YouTube channel as like a bit of a joke on it. But yeah, thoroughly, it's cool. I miss the days of graphics cards had graphics on them, you know. Oh gosh, everything is a mess. This one's not NVIDIA, but it doesn't have to all be NVIDIA. But I've got a passively cool card, which is the, I don't know if they probably use this design on quite a few different cards, but this is a HD 5670, and I tried running 2 of these in Crossfire. It was quiet, but they do get toasty. I generally just use this one as a display output if I can. I try. I had a go this week at trying to fix one and it didn't go very well. But I would try again if I had to, you know, if a capacitor went on something, I feel quite comfortable with doing that. I had to try and micro solder on a really tiny chip. If you're already dead, then yeah, I don't mind giving it a go. But it's just one of them, isn't it? Depends what the risk is for you messing with it. Obviously that looks like it's exactly the same as the 1080. This is obviously the Titan, which has a bit of a weird one with this. It is broken in a sense, but it runs in the 16 by 8 slot, so it works in like the second slot of all motherboards, but not the primary slot. There probably is actually some damage to it, but it still functions. And you can see this hole doesn't even have a screw in it, and you can't either because it's like totally threaded. But nothing wrong with the temperatures or anything, so there's obviously enough pressure around it to keep it going. But this was like basically just I had to force this screw out because it was jammed in there when I bought it. But I bought this and many of us is not working. I've only got 2 more on my shelf. 3 more technically, but GTX 275. Pretty remarkable. But once again, like the old Asus mascot, really cool, I think anyway. And then I've got a, well, Founders Edition if you like, in a way, or stock edition of the GTX 295, which is from a Dell computer. 285. Oh right, what did I? No, I didn't have a 285. I think I had a 280. I've had 260 before as well. They're common as muck though, 260s. But yeah, they did Nvidia went a bit mad at this time with releasing different things. So no backplate on this one, like I say. It's from a Dell, like a proper Dell. So it's got this in obviously for it to slot into the case, but yeah, like I say, it doesn't work with whatever version of Windows it is, so I had to make a separate boot drive to be able to mess around with it. But yeah, I love this old stuff. It's great. And that's it. Oh no, wait, hold on, one more. Probably. This is also one of my favourites as well. Got a bit of a soft spot for the Thermi era, but you should know what that is straight away. I shouldn't have to tell you. Nice furnace. It is, yeah. Cook an egg on this. I've got a couple of, only a couple more, but they're away in a box at the minute. But yeah, just like a 9800 GT I've got. What else have I got? T400 as well. Workstation card, and that's about it. So. Well, yeah, you say that, but I sold any of my cards that were really worth anything when the crisis hit, I suppose. Shortage, that's it. The shortage hit. So I did have a 660 Ti, had a 770, had an AMD Fury, had an AMD Fury X as well. But I just kept all the ones that aren't really worth selling, or ones that I wanted for my shelf. You know, because I just enjoy having them. Not that they're not powerful enough to do anything with. My main one is it's the 3080 with can't remember what the make of the Waterblock is, but it's started off life as a Gaming X Trio MSI, so it keeps it really cool. But I'd putting my main GPU on water is usually my go-to if I can, because it's just night and day, isn't it, the difference between the two. I do actually have something else cool, which to show you, but I don't know what you'll think of it. But the last thing that's on my shelf. And I sort of missed this time in gaming. This is probably when I was on console more than having a PC. You know, being a poor child. But so obviously it's a very old board, but it's an XFX board with NVIDIA chipset on there for the NVIDIA SLI. It's not a 6700, it's a 6600, but very, very close. I think the Q. Oh, not the QX, just the Q6600. This does work actually, but unfortunately, only 2 of the DIMM channels out of the 4 work. And the good thing about I'd not seen this RAM before. I mean, lots of people have, but it's the NVIDIA OCZ SLI ready. Like, it's just like the marketing here is a bit bizarre, I must say. Yeah, 204 and plus, you know, you can overclock these quite high. So while it doesn't work properly, I thought it would be nice, a little piece, because it's got all the NVIDIA stuff on it. This fan, by the way, is like stupidly loud. But yeah, my first Q600 was your first. Oh, that's nice. See, I wasn't around this. Oh no, actually no, I did have a PC around this time. I had an I can't remember what it was now. A dual core E3200 or something, which was like a 3.16 gigahertz, but obviously only dual core. So I think that was slightly before this one. But yeah, before that, when I was much younger, I had a Windows 95 computer with 8 megabytes of RAM. So whatever that was. Oh yeah, no. I mean, at the time, because I was able to sort of choose what computer I wanted almost. I was trying to decide between that dual core or a quad core, whatever the early quad cores were. But I went for the one which was higher gigahertz, less cores. Obviously, it didn't really make much difference because the games then probably wouldn't have been able to utilise the 4 cores as well, and then now it's just totally different. But yeah, I don't know, it's nice to mess around with this sort of stuff. It's also like, a lot of this stuff's really quite cheap now just to have a tinker around with also. And stuff like this is just incredible. I hadn't seen it before. So I'm not like an Nvidia fanboy, but Nvidia are the dominant force in the GPU market, I think, consistently. Better drivers and better products overall. But it's still nice to play around with some of the AMD stuff. Oh, you still kept yours working as well. Oh, see, I sold. My cousin ended up having mine, so I think he still has it, and that ended up with a GTX 460 in it in the end because I upgraded the GPUs. I can imagine. Yeah. Like I think the big thing for me why I wanted a computer back then was to play Total War. So I used to watch a lot of Time Commanders, and I thought it'd be really cool to play around Total War and play those sort of games like hundreds and thousands of men on the field. And obviously you need a fairly decent, semi-decent computer to be able to do it, but yeah, just funny, innit? But yeah, it's actually pretty nice board, all told. It's even got an 8-pin connector as well. I've had some newer boards that have only had 4-pin. And it's got VRM cooling, and I mean, look at those caps. They're bloody huge. Total War lamp. See, I missed out on the whole lamp-eye thing because I was really the only one of my friends that were really into PC gaming in any way. Everyone else just on consoles. So I had consoles as well. I don't know why, but it's got a supplemental Molex power controller as well, right near the SATAs. Yeah, I'm not like, I don't know, it's crazy. It's also got the readouts as well. Yeah, probably. Might be for the chipset almost, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. It's got the readout as well. Just like stuff like, it was obviously clearly a decent board back then. There's so many like huge capacitors that you just don't see on boards nowadays. I don't have another board to hand to be able to easily compare, but then like massive serial ports as well, and like just exposed coils. Like, I'm not sure I would feel all that. I'd feel comfortable with maybe changing a few things on this board, but a lot of it's a bit sketchy. But no, very nice. Yeah. Well, that's it. There you go. I've shown you all my collection that I have available to hand. But yeah, I don't know. It's good. But I appreciate you dropping by and watching. No, you're welcome. It's good to go through it. Good to talk with someone who understands, I guess. So yeah. But I do a lot of sort of like old reviews and stuff on GPUs and things when I get the time over on YouTube, just sort of like messing around with like mainly like GTX 480 and stuff like that, because I find that really really cool because it was such a powerhouse back in the day, and it's still compatible with, I don't know, like 50% of the stuff that comes out nowadays. I think I might have a problem with buying every old thing that I see. I used to be much worse, but I've sort of brought myself back a little bit. Now my shelf's full. That's sort of like the tipping point for me. Once that gets full, I have to get rid of something to bring something new in. Which is not a bad way of doing it, but you know, there's some stuff you just look at and think, oh, that's just too cool to pass up. And I obviously like buying older non-working graphics cards, seeing if I can get them working, get them going again, which is very frustrating at times. But there you go, it's part and parcel. Right, well, that's in the stream. I can't actually read your name because it's so dark. Sultan of Awesome. Oh, okay. Very good. I bought a Rampage 5 Extreme and a 5960X last month for $250. That sounds very reasonable. The Rampage 5 Extreme, that's going to be a pretty high-end motherboard, I would have thought. So I recently bought a Asus Maximus Genie Z or Gene Z, I can't remember what it's called, 4 for my 2700K. It's a very, very nice board. It's got stuff on it that modern boards doesn't have, and it's amazing how much. Like, I'd never buy the most premium motherboards because I just don't see the point. But when you're playing with older tech and you buy like a little package or something, you end up getting to mess around with this stuff that you wouldn't have done. For the 155, I love the Z77. Oh, okay, yeah, that's ATX though, isn't it? My case that I wanted to put in was M80X. I did see that. I did see the Z77 M Power come up. Yeah, so it's just too big for the case that I wanted to put it in. But the Asus Maximus has got like all the readouts, the start, reset button, like BIOS flashback. It's got like this like safe memory tuning or something, or like, I don't know, I was reading about it, like you can press it before and it'll automatically overclock or something, I can't remember. But yeah, it's really nice. So like I say, I would never buy a motherboard that premium for, you know, for like a main build, because it just seems too frivolous. You know, the money's not worth the features, but then like I say, when you get to play with older stuff that's got it all, it's quite interesting to see it. So, but yeah, no, great stuff. Well, carry on collecting. Feel free to let me know what other stuff you pick up. I don't normally do videos like this very often, where I'm just sort of like doing stuff IRL, like testing and whatever happened there, testing and whatnot. But maybe it's something I'll do a bit more of in the future. Alright, well, thanks for stopping by, and yeah, hope you see you around. Bye for now.